So to introduce myself, I'm Andrew Salkeld, I'm 34, I'm a chartered accountant, as it said, trained at PwC before moving into industry, specialise in corporate finance, business intelligence, and currently finance director, CFO at Salkeld. So that's what I normally say to people. This time, we're going to do it properly. So, I'm Andy. I'm 34. I suffer from depression, and in 2017 I almost committed suicide. It changed me. I stream World of Warcraft on Twitch to a community and in my spare time, and in doing so I raise money for charity and mental health charities in particular across the UK. Generally speaking, not a dick. Generally speaking. So, which one of those two intros is more honest? Which one of those is more the person that stands here in front of you today? And which one is more relevant? Why do we feel we always have to start with a professional introduction and not the personal introduction? And why are they different? So Zaina got in touch with me on LinkedIn actually, completely out of the blue. I published an article called Breaking the Stigma. Still there, it's on LinkedIn, it's on my personal website, which is miz7.com. And this is just the follow-up to it. So I published this because I was doing a 24-hour stream online, raising money through Just Giving for Mind. And I realised when I was doing that I'd never shared it with my professional community. I'd made one post on World Mental Health Week, like months and months ago, in maybe March or something, but I'd never really shared it because of the stigma that is attached to mental health that I feel is present in the culture of business now. And I clearly said this then, and I will clearly say this now. Some of you might not like what I say. Some of you may never want to work with me or socialise with me or get to know anything more about me. To me, that doesn't matter. What you choose to do is what you choose to do. But for now, just stay a while and listen. So, memes. Now, I'm going to talk about a really personal story, and it's my story with depression. It links to anxiety, it can link to any form of mental health, and this is incredibly serious, but it's an incredibly personal, incredibly complex journey, and to spend the time to go into it in detail would be near impossible. Memes, whilst funny, are also a really simplified way of saying what matters, and I just felt this would try and add some light-heartedness to what is actually a really pretty shit subject. One thing I want to make clear now is that this is my story. No two people feel the same in mental health or with regards to anything. Everyone takes their own journey through whatever situation there is in life. I'm going to focus on my time since I started work, just because one, that's probably more relevant in the kind of corporate sense of today, but two, it was also when I became self-aware. Now, it didn't happen initially, but that's when I understood my emotions. A lot of what I say is probably going to be close to the bone. It might hurt some people, and for anyone that speaks about it otherwise, I don't hold any ill will about what's put me where I am and why I'm here today. I'm simply telling a story. I have the utmost respect for the places I've worked, for the people I've worked with. I would not change it because frankly, now I am far more comfortable with myself than I ever was in the past. I'm happy to answer any questions you've got online when I'm streaming. Everything's Ask Me Anything, like literally anything. You get some weird questions online. But there's going to be time at the end, but feel free to jump in if you need to. So to start with, this is really important because this is where I am right now, okay? So through the next 30 minutes or however long it takes, probably longer, I would like to believe I'll come across as quite confident, funny, outgoing. I mean, some of you might warm to me as a speaker, some of you might even warm to me as an individual. It's not about the Disney princesses collapsing, woe is me, anything like that. It's not about staying in bed and wishing for death or anything of the kind. You can be, look and act like everyone else out there and still suffer. And to me, that's why it was important today. Because even though I feel like a failure, and why I convinced myself to talk today, because no one thought it of me. Not my friends, not my family, no one understood what I was feeling. I know through talking and through doing what I've done so far, I've actively saved one life. I know that. Someone I met on stream came to me and said, is what you're saying true? And I was like, well, yeah, of course it is. Why on earth would you lie about stuff like this? And then he told me he was feeling the same. We talked through it. He went outside, he walked his dog, and he re-engaged with the world. And that is something that I want other people to feel, because no one is truly alone. So, let's start. This is how I felt every day. Every single day, regardless of what it was, I felt like I wasn't thrown out of a window, but I felt like having any form of social life in a professional culture was frowned upon. Not necessarily actively frowned upon, not like, you can't do that, but in a kind of like, oh, okay, well, the rest of the team will stay late then. It puts pressure on you, like, and this can apply to anyone in any situation, from seeing friends to taking part in sports or even to having children. Don't have any myself, I don't know about that one, but people feel bad, and this goes back to the presenteeism culture, where we feel we should be there. I say we, it's my story, it doesn't matter. But the workplace felt stifling to me about what I love in life, which is being with the other people in it. So, again, some of these memes are a bit out there, but you'll get the point. So I spent quite a lot of time in professional services, and I felt my personal life had to take a backseat to my professional life. Side note, we only have one life, so make them the same. I learned that now, but I didn't know that then. So as someone who isn't an old boy, isn't part of a rugby club, doesn't watch football every weekend, and who doesn't even know how to play golf, someone who liked being a little bit quirky, values himself on being different and having a wide breadth of experience, I never truly felt accepted. Being a generalist with a personality doesn't work in those sorts of cultures. I'm not afraid to say it now, but because of these differences, I experienced workplace bullying. So did others. I was bullied for my hobbies, my taste of music, my love of maths, my enjoyment of cryptic crosswords, even my hair. I mean, I can accept that point. My hair hasn't changed since I was about 15, but whatever. I can remember certain moments vividly. I can name the people who were involved. I won't, but these things stick with you. Just in fact, last week I walked past a very senior colleague that I worked with who only acknowledged me with a nod. Nothing more, because he didn't want to be seen talking to me, or at least that's how I felt. Fundamentally, this is part of the collegiate system that is built into some professional organisations. Doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's wrong, it just wasn't right for me. And it's taken me this long to understand that. You don't understand the impact that these places have on you, both mentally and physically, at the time. It's only in hindsight that you can find this out. You certainly don't know about it when you're applying for them as a fresh-faced university graduate, but don't worry about it. So you're a little bit different, out on the fringes, don't worry about it. Made a mistake in a sample size, don't worry about it. So there's a rounding error in a calculation which caused a discrepancy in an equity schedule, don't worry about it. She only spent 2 hours reviewing an audit file, don't worry about it. Nope, nope, and nope. Every single thing we do in business nowadays is scrutinised by someone. people are looking over our shoulders. It's just the way business is done, because no one wants accountability. No one wants the responsibility when something goes wrong. And it is very, very hard to let it go. So then, simple question. What's going to happen with this? Turns into a 24-hour carnage of research that turns out to be unnecessary. This is primarily driven from what's going on inside the organisations, trying to differentiate on something that isn't to do with the actual quality of the work. Quality is assumed. Can't differentiate too much on personality, because that might scare your clients away. So you differentiate by trying to anticipate the client's needs. But we're not the client. We don't know exactly what's going on in their mind. We don't know what they're thinking 3, 4, 5 years in advance. So you end up doing more and more and more. And that means you are therefore questioning everything. You are second guessing what your boss is second guessing from their boss. And that, it just leads to a culture where you are continually asking yourself, oh, have I done it right? So you end up with this. You end up on your own time, you're tired, you finally got out of work, you finally make it home, you're finally able to do what you want to do. Maybe not when you want to do it, but you can do what you want to do. Nope. Because you're so concerned about what's going on at work, you're suddenly thinking, oh, what if they read it like this? What if this happens? What if? Because we're taught to question, we're taught to be the best self that we can be. And letting go of work is incredibly hard. We all want to do a good job. We all seek acceptance from the people we work with. This is just the follow-on from it. We're asking ourselves what could we have done better? Could we have done more? Now, not everyone will feel like this, but this is a massive problem for me. People say nice things about me. I don't feel they're justified. I mean, the comments that people posted in response to my article, Breaking the Stigma, I was in tears. They were that kind. What people have said to me leading up to today, my friends, my family, who have said, even Zainab, 5 minutes ago, you're so courageous for saying this stuff. Am I? Really? As I said at the beginning, to me, I'm just a guy telling a story. Nothing more than that. This is just who I am. So few people actually say thank you nowadays. Genuine thank you. And because so few people acknowledge the hard work and effort that goes into things, because, as I said, we're expected to work hard, we're expected to put the time in to make it, we suddenly question whether compliments are actually compliments. Take this, am I only beautiful today and not the rest of the time? Do you think I've put in too much effort today? Oh, are they coming on to me? Do you think that all I am is beautiful with no substance underneath? Jesus, you're just trying to pay people a compliment, but we don't trust in them because we are told to question. And then, here's point 1. Take it away with you. Say thank you. Make a habit of it. Make a habit to say thank you every day to every person that does something for you. Make it known that they're valued, because even though they are rewarded well, they get their paycheck, they get their holiday, they get all of this. But sometimes they just want to feel better. As I say, I feel like crap. I feel I shouldn't be here. But people will clap at the end, people will say thank you. Let's mean it when we do it. Compliment people as well, because all of us, every individual here, is special and unique in their own way, and they deserve to be acknowledged for that. Now, before I flip to the next slide, I'm just going to preface it quickly by saying my friends are fucking brilliant. I love them and I really, really value them. But when you are taught to question everything, when you are taught to like wonder, oh, what's this mean? When you feel a bit bad about yourself, you end up questioning more than just yourself and your capabilities. You question your colleagues, you question your acquaintances, your friends, your family. And this was a really sad moment when I started doing this, and it was one step before what I'll talk about later. I was asking myself whether my friends actually liked me. Did they just want me around for superficial reasons? Was it because I was willing and able to pay for things? Was it because I was eye candy? I don't know. Was it because we'd known each other for so long that it was just easier to keep up the pretense than actually giving up? Then I went further and I started asking this of my family. Like, we don't share hobbies, we don't hang out together, we don't do these things. I obviously know that my family love me, I know all these things, but do they actually like me as an individual, as who I am and not who I am as part of the family? You don't, like, I can't answer these questions. All I can say is that I felt isolated, genuine isolation. So when people say feeling alone in a room full of people, this was worse than that, because I didn't know where I could go or who I could speak to or what their responses would be, because I didn't know whether the very relationships I had with people were true. So here's point 2. It took me nearly 25 years to figure this out. Stop saying, yeah, I'm fine, when you're not. Stop saying, yeah, it's okay, when it clearly isn't. Start talking about your feelings. Even though culture might encourage us to see them as a weakness, or that men have to be strong, we as a human species are one of only a few species on our planet that have emotions and emotional intelligence. Let's bloody use them. Let's talk about them. Because, look, if we don't, we're no better than the robots in factories that make machines, or no better than the AIs that we think will probably destroy the world in a few years. Whatever, we're just people. Let's be people. And here's where it gets a bit harder. If you don't share, if you don't talk, you can end up here. Take it in. This is where I was. I was turning my back on my friends, my family, and my loved ones because I didn't know what I was feeling. I didn't know where I was. I was in so much pain that I just wanted it to end. Now, I'm not there anymore, thankfully, and this is tough to say all this, but hopefully it adds value somewhere. I'm going to talk to you about what I felt, why I felt like it, and also how to not notice it, but to realise that sometimes you just, like, it's small things.